Chashuv Mechanchim. In this week's parsha, Hashem gives us the mitzvah to designate 6 Ari Miklat. The Torah says, "As shleish ha'arim titnu me'ever liyarden," 3 of the Ari Miklat had to be in Ever Yarden. V'as shleish ha'arim titnu be'eretz Canaan, and 3 of the 6 Ari Miklat had to be in Eretz Yisrael. So there's the obvious question, which the Gemara in Rakas asks, which Rashi brings down in this week's parsha. Why is it that Ever Yarden needed 3 Ari Miklat just like Eretz Yisrael, while in Eretz Yisrael there were 9 Shvatim, and Ever Yarden only had 2.5 Shvatim? So why would they need to have an equal amount of Ari Miklat? So Rashi brings down the answer from the Gemara that Hishva Minyan Hari Miklat Shalahem. They had an equal amount of Ari Miklat because Mishum de Begilad Nefishi Ratzchi, because in Eretz Gilad, which was referring to Ever Yarden, which was called Eretz Gilad, there were a lot of murderers. So since there were a lot of murderers in Ever Yarden and the murder rate was up, therefore Ever Yarden needed to have for them, just for themselves, even though they were just 2.5 Shvatim, a full 3 Ari Miklat, just like the whole entire Eretz Yisrael needed just 3 Ari Miklat for 9 Shvatim. But there's the obvious question on this answer of Mishum de Begilad Nefishi Ratzchi. How does that help explain why Ever Yarden got 3 Ari Miklat if the whole purpose of Ari Miklat is for killing B'Shaygeg? So what if there are more Reitzchim in Ever Yarden? If Ari Miklat is for killing B'Shaygeg should technically happen on a ratio level. If in Eretz Yisrael there's 9 Shvatim, and let's say whatever the number is, 1 in 1,000 people get killed b'Shaygeg, so then in Ever Yarden where there's only 2.5 Shvatim, that number of Shaygeg deaths should be much lower than in Eretz Yisrael, and therefore there should not be a requirement to have an equal amount of Ari Miklat. So that's an obvious question, and there are many Mefarshim who answer this question. But there's one interesting answer from the Gur Arya. He brings other answers, and then he gives his own answer. And his answer, I think, could teach us a lesson in Chinuch. And the Gur Arya explains as follows, that when you have a place that there are going to be more murderers, more deaths b'mezid, it's automatic that in such a place there are going to be more deaths b'shaygig. And he says it's obvious, because if there's more murderers over there, that means that over there the value of life is less. And it means over there that the value of not taking someone else's life is less of a value. And there's a lot more murderers who, that's their culture. So if you live in such a culture where the value of life is less, and the value of not caring to take someone else's life is less, then automatically there's going to be more shaygig deaths over there as well. And we could actually see that there's different cultures in today's world. There are some cultures, like us, where we're very careful about life, and we go to extreme lengths to protect people's lives. So a shaygig deaths happen infrequently. There are certain countries or certain cultures where the value of life is less and they have more murderers. They also have more accidental deaths because of while driving, overdosing, a gun that was by mistake lying around, other weapon that was by mistake lying around. So when you have a culture of murdering and that the mazid murder rate is up, the shaygig murder rate is going to be up as well. And I think we find this by our Talmidim in Chinuch as well. We have, and I'll give an example from, and this could apply in many areas, but let's say Shmiras Hazman. You have some Talmidim that they're always on time. They're always on time. It could be a snowstorm, it could be raining, there could be a parking issue, they could be not feeling well, they could have a cousin's l'chaim, hanachas tefillin, all the same excuses like their other classmate who's always coming late and always giving an excuse, and he's always a shaygig and he's always an einus. But really what we need to realize is that sometimes the reason why one Talmud is experiencing so many shaygigs and he's always late, and Taka with an excuse and his alarm clock and he wasn't feeling well and it was his wedding and all those good excuses, it's because truly he doesn't value coming on time. Arya, the Talmidim and the families that you see that they value coming on time, they're never late. Only when they have a true einus do they come late. They also have weddings, they also have weather events, they also have all those other excuses. But you see from here that when you have a value for something, there's going to be less shaygigs. And when the value is down, then it won't be b'mezid, there's going to be more shaygigs. So to apply this in Chinuch, I think sometimes we need to realize that if we have a Talmud who's frequently having a shaygig with, let's say, Shmiras Hazman, like the example I gave, it could happen with davening, it could happen with learning, it could happen with derech eretz, it could happen in other areas. And it could be a shaygig, and he was einus, and he didn't think, and he was a little bit impulsive. Sometimes instead of us just following up, is he a shaygig? Does he deserve Ari Miklat? Does he need a different follow-up? Was he amazed? Does he need a knas? Sometimes we need to realize what this Talmud is lacking is the intrinsic true value for that area of chinuch that we're trying to be mechanechim. And then when we're going to give over that value and impart it to him, which is our role as mechanechim, the amount of shogeg situations and the amount of follow-ups of shogeg follow-ups will automatically decrease.